got Steve Harvey, who is questioning.
Did you
Who
put
is?
it up?
It's up. You don't see it?
Well, go ahead.
You talking about the overlay?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's up there.
Okay.
But now we got Steve Harvey, who is cautioning all young men on how to not become like Diddy. Diddy, of course, we don't need to rehash what's going on with him. But Steve Harvey has some words of wisdom for men in terms of how to go about not being in that position, being more respectful, being gentlemen, all of that good stuff. So Steve Harvey's just not for it. And he wants to see more young men go about doing things the right way. Do you still not see it?
No, I went on the online, bro. So it's on the actual YouTube. So, but I don't see it on my side. It's all good.
Oh, that's weird. Okay, all right. Well, so this says Steve Harvey warns young men not to become like Diddy. You've got to be a gentleman. Steve Harvey has issued a warning to young men not to become like Sean Diddy Combs during a recent interview on the One on One with Chris Fade podcast. The comedian and media personality explained how a man's character, especially in how he treats women, will determine his future. While noting that Diddy was getting away with a lot, Harvey shared his reaction to the video of Diddy dragging and kicking Cassie Ventura in a disturbing 2016 surveillance video. Diddy is currently serving a 50-month sentence at a federal facility in New Jersey after being found guilty on multiple counts of violating the Mann Act. The disgraced mogul was sentenced for 2 counts of transportation to engage in prostitution related to his now infamous freak-offs or hotel nights, drug-fueled hours, or days-long sexual encounters involving a girlfriend and male escorts that Diddy would arrange, orchestrate, pay for, and often record. All right, so we'll go ahead and get out of this, and we'll play the clip that we got of Steve Harvey, who I believe has been mentioned on the channel, but I'm not sure if Steve Harvey is friend status quite yet.
He's getting there.
He's getting there. All right, so let me pause that and bring this up.
You cover Lori Harvey more than him.
Yeah. Well, that should come as no surprise. All right, so yeah, here's Steve Harvey talking about the importance of not becoming like Diddy.
A good guy, you'll survive it. It's the bad guys that don't survive it. If you're not trying to be cruel or unkind to people, you're not trying to be abusive or use people, be a gentleman, be fair. Don't talk to women that way, treat women with kindness and respect. If you're that guy, you'll survive that area. Most of us do. And then if you're not that guy, you won't survive that area. He's in prison right now because you've been Puffy. You've been watching it. You turn into Puffy. If you don't respect it, you're going to do some time.
Why do you think that with Diddy? Is it because you're living a life where there are no boundaries? You get whatever you want whenever you want. You've done everything you possibly have, and there are no boundaries. So you just keep going further and further?
For you to be a public figure, wrap a towel around yourself and run down a public hallway, not knowing who's at that elevator. It could have been other people at the elevator. But you go around there and there's no one at the elevator, and that's your reaction to this girl? Yo, bro. So now, that's what we caught on tape. That's the one that's on tape. That's the one that's out in the public in front of the elevator. My goodness, what's been going on when you ain't in front of the elevator? Yeah. So now you're just not a good person. Man, you can't run it like that because now you got to pay. And the thing about sin is, sin costs you more than you want to pay and make you stay longer than you want to stay.
Bars. What is sin costs you more than what you want to pay, and it makes you stay longer than you want to stay. Bars. Yeah. So yeah, what are your thoughts on what Steve Harvey had to say about that?
Yes, it's true. It's true to a degree. it's easy to look at it. It's easy to look at the Diddy situation. But if there was some devil advocacy here, no pun intended. But if there was some of that going on, it's like he didn't get much time. Then there's cases out there where there's emails, flight lists, black books, doing worse than what Diddy did, allegedly. And they're not in prison. So we can look at Diddy and point and go, yeah, when you're living bad things happen. But what about all these other people? What about these people that live to be 90 years old and they're just absolutely heinous human beings? And I'm not talking about like a one-off person, angry grandma. I'm talking about people that have orchestrated systematic genocides, and they just live to be 80 years old, get heart replacements, just get right back at it. What about those people? So, yeah, I hear that. So it works on one level, but then there's other levels where you have to look at it and go, all right, man, it's not an absolute rule. Diddy did something wrong, and it wasn't beating up a woman in an elevator. He did something else wrong, because there's people out there that do worse stuff than beating up a woman in the elevator, and they don't get the public embarrassment that Diddy just went through. And so, yeah, I hear Steve. I'm not telling people out here to be evil. I'm not telling people out here to beat up women near the elevator. But what I'm saying is, I feel like that's an absolutist kind of statement. And if you just look at the Diddy situation, I don't want to say it's misleading. It's true in that situation, but it's only anecdotal. It's not a universal law. But what are your thoughts, man, on Steve Harvey weighing in on the Diddy situation, saying that, hey, man, you do all of this crazy stuff, you bound to get what's coming to you? What are your thoughts, man?
So when I was a kid, I used to play Super Nintendo. And, back in the day when you played Super Nintendo games, there were no memory cards. You couldn't save your progress. Like if you died, you had to start back at the beginning again. And depending on the game that I was playing, if I got far enough and I died and I ran out of lives and I ran out of all my continues, it was a very frustrating situation. And oftentimes what I would do to vent my frustration is I would throw the joystick. Mm-hmm. I went through a lot of Super Nintendo joysticks in rage because of when I would die playing a video game. I would get so upset that I couldn't contain my anger. And the only thing that I can do to make myself feel better was to throw the controller against the wall and it would shatter. Now I got to go buy another joystick. So I would do the same thing with the games themselves, unless it was a rental from Blockbuster.
Restraint then.
Yeah, unless this was a video game rental from Blockbuster or Monster Video, I would throw the cartridge against the wall, and a lot of times it would break apart. This is kind of what I did when I was angry at things that didn't go my way with objects throughout my youth. I would break them because I didn't have an appropriate way to channel my frustration. That is something that you do when you perceive something to be this object that you use at your disposal. You're going to be violent with it. You'll be abusive towards it. You'll even break it from time to time because it is of no consequence to you for it to break other than a mere inconvenience, because it's an object that basically exists for your own pleasure. Now, in the case of me, this object was my video games. They served at the whim of my pleasure. I played them for my own personal pleasure. Whenever they upset me, I might break them from time to time, depending on how upset that I was. The only reason why I bring that up is because I believe that is an analogy to the way that a lot, not all, but a lot of today's modern man interacts with certain women. which is they are an accessory. So you have a lot of guys in today's world who accessorize women. They shop for them. We talk about this all the time. I believe Instagram started this. It created this deeply embedded subconscious psychosis in men that women are just kind of there for you to shop through. So you swipe here, swipe there, swipe here, swipe there. Now, things like dating apps have exacerbated this dynamic. You're on Tinder or you're on Bumble, or I don't know what dating apps people are using nowadays, but the functionality of them is largely similar, which is here's a picture of a woman, swipe here, swipe there. I'm virtually shopping from women. In a roundabout way, I am accessorizing women to a certain degree. They're not actually real humans. They are inanimate objects that are manifesting themselves as images. And I'm picking and choosing which one I want, and I'm picking and choosing which ones that I want to dispose of. So when you have this dynamic going on of these guys who are essentially accessorizing women, you're going to reach a point in which they start to treat women like accessories. Now, am I saying that this is right or wrong? Of course not. I am not saying that it's okay. I'm not saying it's right. I am not offering up an excuse. What I am offering up is an explanation. And there is this accepted pattern of behavior in today's relationship, dating, whatever you want to call it, world, where women are placing a price tag on themselves and are essentially making themselves available to certain profiles of men, and these men are choosing to engage with these women from a consumer standpoint as if they were accessories, grocery items that they are shopping for at a supermarket. Or as if they are going to a car lot and looking to buy a new car, or if they're in a new neighborhood and they want to buy a new house. You drive around the neighborhood, you pick the house that you want, you call your realtor, and you say, hey, get on this. I want to buy this house. That's essentially what guys like Diddy are doing with women. They're shopping for them. Does this apply to all men? No. Steve Harvey has to be talking to guys in that kind of position. He ain't talking to everybody. But he is talking to that segment of men who approximate women as though they are accessories. And when you're dealing with an accessory, what might you do when you become displeased with that accessory? You might abuse it from time to time. You might break it. You may throw it against the wall, the same way that I used to throw my joysticks against the wall. Hey, I paid for this thing. I bought it. So if it pisses me off enough, I'll just go buy another one. But in the meantime, how do I channel my frustrations? I'm going to throw this damn thing against the wall because it just pissed me off. These dudes are accessorizing these women. They're shopping for them. They're not actually connecting with them. They're not making connections with them. They're not actually building with them. They're buying them. You bought that girl. So when you got that kind of situation going on where we're shopping for women, eventually you're going to see stuff like this. Is there a trickle-down effect to the rest of the population? I do believe so. You know, at a certain point, guys are going to start looking at women less like women and more like accessories, items that they shop for. Because that's what you're doing when you're on the phone, or when you're on the OnlyFans doing your subscription stuff, or when you're on these free sites, or whatever else you're doing to get your rocks off. With swipe here, swipe there, pick this, tap that, pay for this, pay for that. You're buying stuff. And when you buy stuff and you get mad at it, you might mess with it from time to time because you're displeased with the level of service that you got. You don't think you got what you paid for, right? Like, what always happens when you don't, like, what do you have a tendency to do when you don't think you got what you paid for? You may throw it away, you may get rid of it, give it to somebody else, try to send it back. And if you can't send it back, what do? Raise hell, get mad. You try to demand a refund, get us credit. These are the things that we do with accessories. So women have just become life-sized, breathing accessories to some guys. And to those guys, they're going to treat them accordingly. So it is what it is, man. Maybe if people, you know, I don't want to blame anybody. I'm not trying to blame people, but maybe if there was less of a tendency on the part of some women to essentially accessorize themselves, a lot of this stuff wouldn't happen as much. And maybe if there was less of a tendency on the part of men to view women as accessories, less of this would happen. But right now, there is an element of this in our society. And with that element of this in our society present, this is what you get. So, yeah, that all sounds good. Treat them like gentlemen, be nice, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, but some guys just look at women like accessories. And when you feel like you didn't get what you paid for, you may throw the joystick against the wall. So, it is what it is.
Well, or you can treat the accessory like a gentleman and get eaten alive. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, you like, hey, let me get you out of this club. Let me take you home. Let me wind you and dine you. You know what I'm saying? Nah, man. The only reason why she liked this is because she's never had a real gentleman before.
No, you'd be a fool. That's a fool's goal. That's a fool's
that's what I'm saying. This is my thing with Steve Harvey. He's Mr. Half Truths. And I know that was just a clip. Maybe he articulated himself better on the back end, but I highly doubt it. He does this universal, sweeping, generalized thing that men need to be X. They need to be like this. They need to be gentlemen's first.
It sounds good to say. That's a thing that sounds good. It sounds good to say that.
And he's Mr. Self-Help man. You know what I'm saying? He talked like that he talked like that all the time. And these absolute statements and it's like more nuanced than that. I get it. Granted, bro, be a gentleman. I ain't telling you to be Diddy. But at the same time, man, it's like, you got to evaluate, bro. You can't just be like, yeah, I'm gonna just be a gentleman out here in the field, man. It don't work that way. And like you said, bro, the accessorizing is going both ways. Women accessorize men too. It's not at the same level, but it's happening. And women put themselves up for sale for sure. You know what I'm saying? And men are constantly on the hunt to buy. So this dynamic is very much going on. And I think that's the root of the problem, like you said, because when we get into this transactional thing, why be a gentleman? Why be a gentleman if I'm doing a transaction?
I'm getting what I paid for. That's right.
Yeah. What I paid for. And honestly, it wasn't all that good in the first place. I thought it was going to be something better. So then now there's a problem, like you said, man. So yeah, we're not condoning violence here. But one thing that it does is it opens the door for people's however they decide to react to it. So a guy like Diddy is going to, do fisticuffs. And like you said, another dude might start the arguing or, nasty behavior or whatever, and that's my problem with the transaction field, period, bro. Like there's nothing good that comes out of like the transaction world. I mean, there's some stuff here, some stuff there, man, but the cons way outweigh the pros when you're living that life of transaction.
It's just the transaction world is starting to supplant the otherwise typical world as typical. Like this is, there is no delineation between the transactional world and not, because everything is just a transaction. So by default, that has become the standard way that everybody operates.
And that's why the dating pool is so what it is. It's like the dating pool at this point, bro. It's like what they call that, still water. Yeah, man, you jump in there and brain eating amoebas. Go get your ass. Don't dive in there. It's sick out there. You know what I'm saying? So you need to get into some fresh water. Yeah, get into some fresh water, man. Go with some good people man. But yeah, I agree with you, bro. Like, and that's why those dating apps, bro, that's why it's a cesspool, man. It's all kinds of people with issues on there that get metastasized because they keep using the damn app, keep meeting people, keep getting burned literally and figuratively. So now they bringing those war wounds to you because you're like the fifth guy that they've hooked up with this year. So you're gonna feel the pain from all of those 4 dudes and the 7 from last year. This ain't clean, man. So it's like, yeah, be a gentleman, but what are we doing out here?
Yes, it's frightening.
Yeah, man. So I hear him, in order for there to be balanced courtship going on out here, the men need to be balanced and be a gentleman, but when constituted. And and women need to do the same thing, man. They need their own, version of that, and be balanced and come to the table, man. But right now, man, there's so much pop the balloon. There's so much, trash going on, man. Like, what are we supposed to do?
20v1.
Come on, bro. 20v1. Come on, man. So this is the current state. This is the current state, man. So I hear him, man, and I'm not throwing stones at the overall message of men need to be a gentleman, because for sure. But let's contextualize that. So yeah, man, y'all just be safe out here, man. No still water diving. It's gross out here.
Maybe he's operating under the baseline understanding that you, as a man, I'm giving him far more credit than he deserves, but maybe he's operating from a default position of assuming that men are trying to interact with non-accessorized women. Maybe that's why he didn't offer up the
assumption, sir.
I'm trying to find some optimism. I'm trying to find some optimism with it. But I hear what you're saying. There's always room for more context. Like 95% of the stuff that we talk about, there's always room for more context. But the lack of said contextualization is what gives us the ability to be able to opine the way that we do.
For sure.
But yeah, I'm with you. I just automatically assumed that we were talking about, because you shouldn't be dealing with women in the nighttime unless you're treating them accordingly. So, I mean, if that's what we're talking about, then what do you expect? Like a human being is going to treat an accessory that they are dissatisfied with accordingly.
Yeah, man.
So, I mean, if you are a human being who accessorizes themselves, whether you are a man or a woman, unfortunately, it should come as no surprise that you are treated as such if the person comes to be dissatisfied with the way that you've chosen to accessorize yourself. So the best way to not see that kind of mistreatment is to not accessorize yourself. But the current culture has basically conditioned all of us to varying degrees to accessorize ourselves.
Yep.
So this is what you got. I mean, what is a BBL if not a woman like you are that is literally a woman accessorizing herself. Why are you doing it?
Literally.
There's no other way to explain why you did that. I don't give a damn what you tell me. You did that because you felt as though you could curry some kind of a reaction or kind of attention from a certain kind of individual or sets of individuals that you're looking for. That is a form of accessorizing. Who told you to do that? What has informed you that this is something that will enhance how you feel about yourself or how you think you look from other people? And dudes do it too.
Oh yeah,
dudes do it too. You want to, I gave you the story before about, there are certain guys who I met who, if you told them to go and get a job because they needed to keep the lights on, they'd be demotivated. But if you told them to go get a job because there's going to be some wolves out there, they'll go do it. Same thing. So we're all doing this crap, but
man, we ain't trying to work with the wolves though, bro.
I mean, we're all doing this stuff, man. So like, if you accessorize yourself to make yourself more appealing, which is what your culture has convinced you is what you're supposed to do, then certain things may happen as a result. And I'm not owning it. I'm not saying that it will happen, and I'm not saying that it should happen, but certain things will happen because in life, ugly things do happen. So what you have to do is best position yourself environmentally to have certain things not happen to you. Yeah. But when you do certain things that literally put you in more of an environment for certain things to happen to you, you opened yourself up to that. Unfortunately, it's an ugly, cruel, disgusting, unfair world, and these are some of the things that happen.
Yeah, amen.
And more guys being a gentleman is not going to fix that, because I'm telling you right now, you can have a gentleman who is the biggest gentleman of them all, Mr. Debonair, super gentleman guy. You know, learn from his pops, who's a gentleman, learn from his uncles, who's a gentleman. You put that gentleman in an environment in which he feels like he paid for something, and that gentleman is dissatisfied because he feels like he didn't get what he paid for, he might act out of pocket, because that's what humans do when they feel as though they didn't get their money's worth.
Mm-hmm.
They act out of pocket.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, man. Hey, well said, bro. So, yeah, man, be a gentleman, bro, but, you know what room you in. And I'm not saying to not be a gentleman, you know, overall, man, but look, don't put your heart out there to get crushed because Steve Harvey told you to be a gentleman. And you in the field, you know what I'm saying? You scrolling. You brought her in from the club, bro. Like, and she always there because you always there. But y'all finally linked up now. You know what I'm saying? Oh, yeah, we and her always be looking at each other, man. I think it's something special. That no, it ain't. She look at everybody like that. So just contextualize how you gonna be this gentleman, bro. You know what I'm saying? I've got the war wounds to prove it. You know, just go out there being a gentleman to everybody, because everybody don't deserve that. And so I'm not telling you to drag them by the elevator like Fred Flintstone or nothing. But just understand what room you in, bro. If you out there in the field, bro, then you might want to hold that in. But if you met her in a solid circumstance, you ain't have to buy nothing. She ain't have to sell nothing. You know what I'm saying? You observe her. She ain't selling to other people. She just to herself. She doing her thing. She ain't got nothing to prove. You ain't got nothing to prove. That's when y'all can open up to each other. But you know what I'm saying? If you met her on IG and she got all these thirst trap pictures, she got all these things on her reels and all her little personal inner friends or whatever, and y'all kicking it like that, and hey man, just know what you're getting yourself into. You know what I'm saying? So be careful out here is what I would say.
I mean, listen, if you in a strip club, if you in the club, if you in the casino, what you shouldn't be a gentleman. That's how you get like those are non-gentleman quarters. Okay. Exactly. That is how you get taken advantage of. This is assuming that you are doing things not in those particular settings. Yeah. There is an appropriate level of behavior when you're in those settings. And in my opinion, being a gentleman is not one of them. Mm-hmm. So I don't think that particular message is pertaining to those environments, I would assume. Mm-hmm. But if there's anybody out there who is thinking maybe I should be more of a gentleman as I try to throw my bands at this stripper, maybe you should sit down and reconsider.
Hey man, you never know. You never know, man. Hey, but shout out to Steve Harvey's mustache. And shout out to the man unit. So yeah, shout out to Steve, man.
And man unit went strong.